Welcome to Cover. I'm Stephen Walker. Today we're diving inside the pages of Plus magazine, where our cover star Sheryl Lee Ralph tells us about her new documentary. I also chat with the star of a new HIV stigma-smashing horror movie, Others. First up, my conversation with our editor-in-chief, Desiree Guerrero. Hi Desiree, thank you for taking the time to join me on Cover today. So let's talk about our cover star. Sheryl Lee Ralph is our cover star. Can you tell me why you were so excited to have this trailblazer on our cover?
Well, gosh, so many reasons. I personally love Sheryl Lee. Like since I was a child, I have a very personal connection with her. It's kind of a funny story. I wrote about it in the editor's letter in this issue, but I remember being a young girl, probably, 10 maybe so in the 80s. And she was on this show called It's a Living. It was like a sitcom about waitresses working in a high-rise building. And, up until then, all the actresses had been white. And she was the first, just this beautiful woman of color. She replaced a character that had left. And I was just so excited. I was like, like the Black woman was one of the pretty girls. And that's something I hadn't seen, a lot growing up. I'm Latina and have some African ancestry as well. So it was just so exciting for me to see this beautiful woman of color be, side by side with, the pretty girls, which was something that we hadn't seen very much before. So I just fell in love with her right away and kind of followed her career ever since. So when the opportunity came, for us to have her on our cover, we're always just like, when we want someone like that, we're crossing our fingers. But Plus isn't a magazine that people are jumping to be on. Unfortunately, there's still a bit of stigma. And even in 23, people are still a little hesitant to put their name next to HIV causes. And she, fresh off her Emmy win, just went right for it. She didn't hesitate to say yes and be on our cover and give us a great interview.
Right. And sorry to interrupt you, but I'm curious, what did she have to say about her now famous Emmy acceptance speech, which blew me away?
Yes, as I think it did everyone. It was just so, genuine, pure moment. And of course, so we had to ask her about that. And so she said it was a very personal thing. She said she was so blown away and shocked that she had won. She kind of went blank. And she just said that she just, for some reason, thought of this moment in her when she was younger with her father, that she used to get really nervous before performances and almost be in tears and, physically ill. And he just would tell her, listen, the people came to hear your voice, just do what you were born to do. Don't worry about the nerves, and I think I had the quote written down here. He said, show them who you are. And she said that's what came to her mind. So she said the only thing she knew to calm herself in that moment was to just burst into song. And it kind of just, let her just live the moment and enjoy it. And it was just a beautiful memory of her father encouraging her. And yeah, so she talks a little bit more about it in the interview. So you'll have to check it out.
Oh, it's a great interview. And I tell you, that acceptance speech, I actually did clap. I was looking on my little phone and I was like, clapping.
Yeah, it's so inspiring. I still watch it sometimes, just watch it in the middle of the day if I'm, just need a little inspiration. It's such a great moment. And, we were so glad to get a little insight.
You can read Sheryl Lee Ralph's full interview in Plus. Next, I was lucky enough to catch up with the star of new horror movie Others, Peter McPherson. So, hello, Peter. Thank you for joining me. So, congratulations. I can't believe it. You're a movie star, man. You're a movie star. Obviously, being an actor, accepting work is a big part of it. What was your first reaction to the email from your agent, and how did your agent approach this subject?
So my agent messaged me. We have a little WhatsApp group, and they're really great because they always ask if I'm interested in something, and this came up. And I've done a lot of work in the UK. You're in America, you have Broadway Bears, right? And here we have West End Bears, and so it's for a HIV charity. And so I've done that for quite a few years. So they always knew, my agents always knew about my status being HIV positive. So when this came in, they were like, "What do you think? Do you want to go for it?" I was like, "Absolutely, let me have a look." I read the script. The script was amazing, was incredible, and I was like, "Okay, what is this Casey House?" Because I'd never heard of it before, and then did a little bit of research. And then was just blown away from all of the work they do. Or like, it's not just a hospital. It's like they look into the mental health. It's literally, I call it like holistic in a way. It's like whole body, everything. They look into the social aspect of it and why they're doing these projects that they're doing. So yeah.
In the article you mentioned Casey House. Tell me a bit more about their work. And you went to visit.
Yeah, I went to visit. So it's a hospital in Canada, in Toronto, and they've been going, I think it was 1988, I think it started. And when I went over to film, because they're the ones that basically produce these projects, the whole point of these different campaigns that they do is to tackle stigma. And so every year is a different thing. The building is incredible. Like, so I went over, filmed, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love to go to Casey House," but I was kind of talking to the wrong people. It was like all the producers and, the kind of director, and they were like, "Oh, it's a hospital. So it's, I don't know if it's somewhere you can visit." But when we finished the film and I got flown back over again to do the campaign and the kind of release of it and all the Q&As and the interviews, I met Joanne Simmons, who is the CEO, and she was like, "You've never been?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Okay, tomorrow, 10 o'clock, come to Casey House, and I'm going to give you a personal tour." I kid you not, I cried, because it's somewhere I've never experienced. I'm anywhere in the world. I mean, we have places here, but not like that. It's just to stand where, Princess Diana had been, those amazing famous photos where she's touching people with AIDS and advanced HIV. It blew my mind, really did.
I know, it's crazy that the stigma is attached to something that is manageable. It's manageable now. It's crazy the stigma is still there. The film tackles stigma. How does it tackle the stigma of living with HIV in the movie?
So it tackles it in a way of, see, Casey House, what they're really, really good at is they know that they're very kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? They just know what they're about. So first of all, they say like what is stigma? Stigma is, kind of, what's this say? Like, I've lost the words, but like against someone, your group of people kind of thing. And they're like, well, what fuels stigma? And they found like it's fear. So they were like, right, we're going to make a film. We're going to make a film. What's the best genre to showcase fear? And they were like, it's going to be a horror film. It's got to be a horror film, because horror is very good at kind of tackling quite complex social issues. Things like Rosemary's Baby or Get Out, or things like that. Kind of it takes you on the journey of the protagonist, how they feel, and so how it tackles it is, the tagline of the film is "Stigma has many faces," and so it's not the villain in the film really is stigma, and where it comes and where it shows up throughout the film, which I thought was brilliant and really, really clever.
Be sure to catch Peter's full interview in Plus. Thanks for watching Cover to Cover. I'm Stephen Walker.